Hi, my name is Guani. Thank you for coming to our presentation on flipped learning. Jimmy and I are really excited to share with you what we've been doing for the past few years. Just to tell you what today is going to look like. So, first of all, right now you're doing the first part. We are watching a video on what is flipped learning. After that, you're going to meet the presenters. Jimmy and I are going to introduce ourselves. Then I am going to talk a little bit about my experience of flipping specifically in my maths classroom. And then Jimmy is going to talk about his experience of flipping in his high school Mandarin classroom at Onslow and how that's benefited him, especially during the lockdown. And then, because we think this is going to be a bit of a burning question on everyone's mind, how can I do this myself? We're going to offer you some ideas for making your own instructional videos. And then Jimmy is also going to take us through some other technology that he's found really useful in his language teaching. Okay, so what is flipped learning? One of the most common comments that I've gotten, enough that I feel like it definitely is worth addressing, is that people will say, "Oh, flipped learning. Yeah, I've done flipped learning. I found this video online and I showed it to my class, and everyone watched it. Then we did some activities." That's actually not flipped learning. So people have this idea that flipped learning is about playing videos. It's not about the videos themselves. Flip learning is about thinking about what is the best use of face-to-face class time. And videos, yes, I do use videos a lot, but videos are a tool to free up your time. It would be like saying, what is modern learning? Oh, it's when you have big open classrooms. Now, the big open classrooms are there to help us with modern learning, but that's not what modern learning is about. So, flipped versus traditional learning. Now, when looking at traditional learning, it is really important to understand that flipped learning first came from the US. And so the studies that they've done and their idea of what's traditional learning is very US centric. And definitely, as Kiwi teachers, we don't teach like that anymore. Most of the time, we really don't teach like that. And so don't worry if you're looking at the traditional going, I don't do that anyway. I felt that when I looked at the traditional way of teaching, that I could still think of instances in my class where it applied, and then that's why I found the flipped model really helpful. So yeah, the traditional way of learning is teacher gives instruction, student takes notes, the students might do an activity following some instructions, then the teacher assesses whether they got it right or not, and then the students have homework, and that's where they do a lot of that practice. They do a lot of that applying their learning to different contexts and a lot of that complex learning. So the thing that didn't work for them in that model is that the teacher's not there when they need the help the most, because when they get stuck on something complex, they just have to work it out themselves. So flipped learning was really helpful in that sense, in that what happened was the students would interact in a shallow way with the new content while at home, whether it's through a video or a podcast or a book or a website, and then they can work on it in class in terms of applying it to different problems and different contexts. So that deepening level of learning is done with the teacher. Now, in New Zealand, and especially in a primary context, we don't really do homework the way that they do in the States. And also in the classroom, we don't teach like they do in the States most of the time. So why are we talking about flipped learning? Well, I found it really helpful to think about flipped learning in a within classroom context. So instead of home versus at school, I'm thinking about with the teacher versus independent time. So what am I doing with my class during their independent time, and what are they doing then when they're with me? And it's basically the same context if you think about it, because how many times have you taught a student something new while they're with you and then sent them away to practice or apply it to something by themselves, where unless they have a teacher aide, they don't really have anyone to help them. They can discuss with their peers, but there's no teacher to help them, right? And we became teachers because we love to guide students through learning, and we are always looking for ways that we can have more time to spend with the students, helping them either one-on-one or workshopping something with them. And so that's why would we want to spend any of our time face-to-face time with the students, doing shallow learning, when they are able to access that information by themselves? The technology that we have these days enables us to actually teach while we're not present with them. So let's use that technology. So that's what flipped learning is all about. You're just thinking about, how am I spending my time when I'm actually with the students? And so we're going to look at how we can flip that today. Once you've watched this video, take this cup that should be somewhere near you, or it might look like a different color, but take the cup, and then if you just flip it upside down, that tells me that you've finished watching the video. And when most of the cups are upside down, we will go ahead with the rest of our presentation. Now, while you're waiting for that to happen, what I would like you to do is just have a little brainstorm with yourself, or discuss with people around you. What are some times in your class, now that you think about it, where you're just giving instruction, and there's not much interaction, there's not much questions or anything like that, you're just giving out information? In your day-to-day teaching, where are you seeing that happening? So have a little think of that, and I will talk to you soon.